Nothing says fragile masculinity like calling professionalism emotional cheating. That's this week on Men in the Wild, where we find real examples of stories of men having conflicts with the women in their lives from the internet, and we break down what is going on beneath the surface and how the lessons that we learn about what it means to be a man can absolutely sabotage our connection, our authenticity, and our relationships if we don't do something about it. The boyfriend writes in, "Am I the asshole for accusing my girlfriend of dressing up for a Zoom meeting?" Now, it's a truly preposterous story. She works a totally remote job. He essentially does nothing. And he says that one night he's up late with his buddies and he leaves her a note that says, "Hey, please don't wake me up. I stayed up late." And he's suddenly awoken in the morning to her having a noisy Zoom meeting. He walks out into the living room and he's super angry that she's woken him up. And then he looks over and he becomes even more angry because he says she's wearing one of her best business outfits and has her makeup totally done. Now, he says this isn't the norm. She doesn't always do this for her Zoom meetings. And so he immediately becomes suspicious. And he notices that she's on a Zoom call with her boss, who is an older woman, and another male coworker who's about their age. He confronts her and he's super angry. And he says, "I know that you're trying to look a certain way because you want to impress this man. And basically, I feel like you're emotionally cheating on me based on how you've dressed for the Zoom meeting." Now, she insists like she wanted to look professional for her boss. This was an important meeting and that she felt perfectly normal to dress the way she did for her meeting. And he responds that even if she was dressing like that to try to make a good impression, that basically it's a cheap and manipulative way for a woman to try to climb the ladder by using her looks to get ahead. At this point, his girlfriend basically ends the conversation with him and leaves. He said he went back to a bunch of his buddies and he said most of them agreed that she was being suspicious, that she was being problematic. He said, but one friend that he thought he could trust gave him feedback that maybe he was just being a bit too insecure. Now, I think we have a combination of a couple of things going on in this story. One, we see the same fragile masculinity. I talk about it in other stories on this channel, right? Where men feel like they only have value and worth and identity if they are in control over a woman, right? But two, I think the other part that's going on here is his own internalized misogyny, where he has these beliefs deep down that says women are not trustworthy, women have an ulterior motive, and if I as a man do not control them and keep an eye on them at all times, then they're going to go out and cheat on me, right? And a lot of men have this mindset. And so here's the bottom line, right? If we don't actually as men do something, unearth and destabilize the subconscious myth about women that we've been socialized into, we are going to end up looking for evidence in our relationship and absolutely sabotaging beautiful, healthy, important relationships with women because we are so afraid that they are always already on their way to hurt us. So what do you think? Did she have an ulterior motive, or does this man need to absolutely grow up? Let me know in the comments and stick around because tomorrow we are going to talk about this work that we have to do as men if we are going to unearth and destabilize these myths that we have inherited that cause us to distrust the women in my life. And as always, if you found this video helpful, hit follow for more.